most dangerous time for seniors to shower. This simple habit could be deadly. It usually starts as just another day. The sunlight pushes softly through the window blinds. You stretch a little, maybe take a moment to sit on the edge of the bed and gather your thoughts. The house is quiet, familiar. You know the routine. Maybe you've followed it for years. Wake up, take your meds, shuffle into the bathroom, and turn on the shower. The warm steam rises, and everything feels just the way it should. But in those next few minutes, something unexpected happens. A moment that changes everything. A sudden drop in blood pressure, a dizzy spell, a fall. These things don't wait for a warning sign. They don't announce themselves with flashing lights or sirens. And often, they happen during what we believe is the safest, most normal part of our day. That's the danger. See, there's a moment in the day, a window of time when the body is most vulnerable. For seniors especially, this window can turn a simple shower into a serious health risk. It's not just about slippery tiles or poor lighting. It goes deeper than that. It's about what's happening inside, the natural shifts in blood flow, energy levels, medication timing, and the quiet toll of age on balance and reflexes. But here's the thing. This conversation isn't just about danger. It's about wisdom. It's about recognizing that aging doesn't mean weakness. It means knowing better. It means doing things smarter. It means listening closer to what your body's been trying to tell you, maybe for years. I want to talk to you not just about avoiding a fall, but about something far more important, claiming the authority you've earned through a lifetime of experience. That means honoring your limits without letting them limit you. It means shifting your perspective from "I've always done it this way" to "what's the best way to do this now?" There's a quiet power in that question. It's not about fear. It's about choice. It's about control, about dignity. So today we're going to dive into what many people don't talk about, the hidden risk in everyday readings, the timing that matters more than we think, and the mindset that transforms simple habits into wise living. You're not here to be afraid of aging. You're here to master it. Let's begin. Number 1. Morning mistakes. Why the early hours pose hidden risks. Mornings carry a certain kind of trust, don't they? There's a sense of routine, of renewal. The start of the day has always been a symbol of energy and productivity. For decades, maybe even your whole life. Mornings have meant action, coffee brewing, news playing in the background, a list of tasks waiting for your attention. But here's something that's rarely talked about. For seniors, the early morning can also be the most dangerous time of day to step into a shower. Let's slow that down and really look at what's going on beneath the surface. When you wake up, your body is still adjusting. After hours of sleep, your blood pressure tends to be lower, and your circulation hasn't quite picked up speed. That first rise from bed can already be a challenge. Maybe a little dizziness, maybe a bit of stiffness in the joints. And then, if you head straight into a hot shower, you're asking your body to handle a rapid shift in temperature, a sudden demand on balance, and the added pressure of standing on a wet surface. Combine that with morning medications, which often haven't fully kicked in, or worse, are just starting to impact your system, and you've got a perfect storm. Now, none of this means showers are the problem. The shower is neutral. It's what's happening in your body at that time of day that needs attention. Your cardiovascular system is most delicate in the early hours. Blood vessels are constricting and expanding as they warm up, and standing in hot water can cause further drops in blood pressure. That lightheaded feeling? That's not just from standing up too fast. It's your body telling you, "I'm not quite ready yet." And we haven't even touched on reflexes yet. As we age, our reaction time naturally slows. Slipping on a bit of water at 30 might mean a bruised ego. At 70 or 80, it could mean a broken hip. Recovery from something like that isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological. It chips away at your confidence, your sense of independence, your rhythm of life. So what's the wisdom here? It's not that mornings are bad. It's that your body deserves more patience in the early hours. Giving yourself time to fully wake up, hydrate, eat something light, and let your medication settle can make all the difference. If your morning routine has been the same for decades, it might feel unnatural to change it. But think of it not as giving something up, but as trading it in for something safer, something smarter. Your morning isn't a race. You've earned the right to start slow, to move with intention. And if the timing of something as simple as a shower can protect your health and your independence, then maybe it's time to ask yourself, what does my body need from me this morning? That question alone might just save your life. Number 2, the illusion of routine. When familiarity becomes the enemy. There's a quiet kind of comfort in doing things the way we've always done them. The same breakfast, the same favorite chair by the window, the same TV show at 7 p.m. It's part of what makes life feel stable, manageable. For many seniors, routine isn't just habit. It's tradition, a rhythm built over decades. And for the most part, there's beauty in that. But here's the hard truth. What once worked perfectly may no longer serve you the same way. In fact, it might even be putting you in danger. Familiarity can be deceiving. It whispers, "You've done this 1,000 times. Why change now?" But your body has changed. Your reflexes, balance, internal temperature regulation, and even the way your heart handles stress have all shifted. That old habit of jumping into the shower first thing in the morning might have been fine at 40 or 50, but at 70 or 80 it could lead to something far more serious than a simple stumble. We often think of change as something reserved for the young, as if growth and learning belong only to earlier chapters of life. But that's one of the great lies of aging. Wisdom doesn't come from refusing to adapt. It comes from knowing when to adapt. Let's talk about the danger in assuming that routine means safety. Think of how muscle memory works. You walk the same path from bed to bathroom every morning, half asleep, without thinking. That becomes dangerous not because the path changed, but because you did. Your balance isn't what it used to be. Your reaction time is slower. Your inner ear, which controls equilibrium, may not be giving you the same stability it once did. But your routine, it hasn't caught up. And that disconnect between body and behavior, that's where the risk lives. Real wisdom shows up in small decisions. It's the moment you decide to sit on the edge of the bed for 60 seconds before standing up, giving your blood pressure time to adjust. It's placing a non-slip mat by the shower, even if you think you don't need it. It's rethinking that early shower, when your body is still waking up, and choosing instead to wait an hour or two. These aren't acts of fear, they're acts of strength. Some of the most dangerous decisions we make aren't the bold, reckless ones. They're the quiet, unquestioned ones. The things we never thought to change because we never imagined they could hurt us. But wisdom comes from revisiting even the most familiar parts of our lives and asking, is this still good for me now? Because here's the truth. Routine can bring comfort, but it should never be confused with wisdom. Familiarity feels safe, but real safety comes from awareness. And awareness only grows when we stay open to change. You've built a life full of knowledge, experience, and resilience. Don't let a habit rooted in the past ignore the reality of the present, because the smallest adjustment, made with intention, might just be the thing that preserves your independence, your dignity, and your well-being for years to come. Number 3, empowering the body and mind, safety as self-respect. There's this idea that starts to creep in with age, that if you start making adjustments, adding support rails, or avoiding certain times of day for tasks like showering, you're somehow giving in to weakness. That the more you plan for safety, the more you're admitting to fragility. But here's the truth. Protecting yourself isn't giving up your power, it's taking it back. Real strength is knowing how to work with your body, not against it. Let's put it plainly. Making smart decisions about when and how you do everyday tasks isn't about fear. It's about respect for your body, your mind, and the life you've built. Think of all the things your body has carried you through. Years of work, family, maybe raising kids, or taking care of others. Personal victories, painful losses, joyful celebrations. Your body has endured. So why wouldn't you want to support it now when it's asking for a little more care? Taking precautions, like choosing to shower later in the day, adding grab bars in the bathroom, sitting while dressing, or keeping your phone nearby, isn't a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you value yourself. It's self-respect in action. Let's talk about the mindset that makes this shift possible. Too often, the conversation around aging is wrapped in this idea that independence means doing everything the way you used to. But real independence isn't about pretending you don't need help or change. It's about being the one to decide how you adapt. It's you calling the shots. You staying in charge of your life, your rhythm, your choices. Because here's the thing, there's pride in planning. There's wisdom in preparation. If you were heading into a snowstorm, you wouldn't step outside without a coat, boots, maybe even a shovel. So why step into a slippery, high-risk situation like a hot shower in the early morning when your body isn't ready for it? Especially when waiting even 1 or 2 hours can make the entire process safer and easier. And don't overlook the connection between the body and the mind. When your environment is safe, your mind relaxes. You move with more confidence, not less. And that confidence affects everything. Your posture, your decisions, your willingness to engage with the world. You might feel like adding rails, sitting while you shower, or asking someone to check in from time to time is too much. But let me ask you this. If those small changes keep you out of the hospital, allow you to stay in your own home longer, and give you peace of mind, what could possibly be more powerful than that? We often teach children to wear helmets, look both ways, buckle their seatbelts, not because they're weak, but because we want to protect them. So why not offer that same care and logic to yourself? Respecting your limits doesn't shrink your life. It expands it. It gives you more days of feeling good, more chances to do the things you love, more time to enjoy the freedom you've earned. There's no shame in safety. There's no loss of pride in planning ahead. In fact, the people who love you the most, they'll see it for what it really is, an act of quiet strength. A decision to stay here, stay present, stay in control. So no, it's not weakness. It's not giving in. It's the opposite. It's choosing to live smarter, with intention, with grace, and with the wisdom that only comes from experience. Number 4. The quiet dangers of loneliness and silence. It's not always the slippery floor or the timing of a shower that presents the biggest threat. Sometimes the real danger lives in something less obvious, something that sits in the quiet corners of the day. Loneliness, isolation, silence. Now it's easy to think, I've been on my own before. I know how to manage myself. And you probably do. But the risks that come with isolation are subtle. They build slowly, quietly, until one day, something that could have been avoided becomes something life-changing. See, when you live alone or go long stretches without meaningful interaction, your awareness can dull without you even noticing. You might not realize you're feeling off. You might brush off lightheadedness, forget to hydrate, or ignore that your energy feels lower than usual. And when there's no one checking in, no one to casually mention you seem a bit off today, it's easy to push through routines without questioning them. That's how accidents happen. That's how someone who's always been sharp and careful ends up taking a shower at the wrong time of day, too early, too tired, too dizzy, and ends up falling. Not because they weren't capable, but because there was no one there to interrupt the silence. And that's where connection becomes more than just emotional. It becomes practical. Staying socially connected doesn't just lift your spirits, it sharpens your mind. It keeps you alert. It keeps you engaged with the world, with your body, with time itself. When you're regularly speaking to friends, family, neighbors, even just a daily phone call, you become more aware of how you're really doing. You're less likely to skip meals, less likely to ignore signs of fatigue or unsteadiness. You're more likely to adjust your plans wisely, like putting off a shower until after breakfast, when you've got more energy and stability. Let's not underestimate the power of another voice in your life. Not to control you, not to monitor you, but to remind you that you're seen, that you're not in this alone, that someone's paying attention, and that might be all it takes to choose a safer time, a steadier moment. There's a kind of mental sharpness that comes from connection. It keeps your decision-making stronger. You're more likely to take that extra moment to sit on the bed before standing, more likely to use the grab bar, more likely to say, "You know what? I'll wait until after lunch to shower today. I feel a little off." Even something as small as a text message or a check-in call can change the way your day unfolds. And beyond the physical safety, there's emotional protection too. Loneliness can lead to sadness, which can spiral into depression. That fog of low mood can blur your judgment. It makes you less likely to prioritize your health, less likely to care about structure or safety. That's when we slip mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. But the flip side, a connected mind is a stronger mind. A loved mind is a safer mind. So if you've been keeping too much to yourself, if you've been handling everything alone because you don't want to bother anyone, think again. Reaching out isn't about burdening people. It's about protecting yourself. It's about allowing others to walk beside you. Not in front of you, not behind you, but with you. And if you're someone who has people in your life who care, let them in. Let them remind you of the strength that lives in connection. Let them help you remember things that are easy to forget when silence sets in. Like when to slow down, when to rest, when to wait a little longer before stepping into that shower. You're not alone, and you don't have to act like you are. Because wisdom isn't just about knowing what to do, it's knowing when to ask for company along the way. Number 5, living smarter, not just longer. Rethinking what it means to age well. There's something we don't say enough. Aging is not a retreat, it's a refinement. It's not the slow fade our culture often paints it to be. It's a sharpening of your inner compass. It's a stage of life where, if you're willing, you can live not just longer but wiser. And wisdom doesn't mean doing more. It means doing what matters, when it matters, and doing it well. Let's talk about that phrase, aging well. For too long, it's been tied to how much someone can still do that reminds others of youth. She still drives at 85. He still works in the yard every day. That's all fine and worth celebrating. But it's not the full story. Because aging well isn't about maintaining the illusion of being young. It's about understanding the rhythm of your body, the season you're in, and how to align your choices with your reality, not your memories. And a big part of that alignment, timing. Everything in life has a right time. Farmers know when to plant and when to harvest. Musicians know when to pause and when to crescendo. And your body too has its own clock. It speaks in pulses of energy, waves of alertness, signals of fatigue. And when you pay attention to that rhythm, you stop fighting the day and start flowing with it. Let's bring that back to something as simple as showering. Maybe you used to shower first thing in the morning because you had to be out the door by 7 a.m. Maybe it was a wake-up ritual. But now you don't have to follow someone else's clock. You have the gift of choosing your own pace. And in that choice is power. If your energy is better after breakfast, shower then. If your body feels more stable in the early afternoon, wait for it. There's no prize for doing it early, but there is a risk if you're doing it when your body's not ready. This applies beyond the bathroom too. Think about meals, movement, rest, social time. Everything has its optimal window now, and your job isn't to race through the day, but to walk in step with your body and mind. This is where real aging well lives. In awareness, in presence, in letting go of outdated expectations and building a rhythm that reflects who you are now. Because here's the quiet truth no one tells you. The goal was never to stay young. The goal was always to grow wise, to grow peaceful, to grow into a version of yourself that honors the life behind you and values the life still ahead. Living smarter doesn't mean living smaller. It means you're intentional with your energy. It means you don't waste your strength trying to meet an old standard. You use your strength to shape a new one. It's the difference between just surviving and truly living. So whether it's the time you choose to shower, the way you move through your house, or the schedule you set for your days, let every choice be a reflection of who you are now, not who you used to be. That's not a loss. That's evolution. That's you stepping fully into your season, with grace and clarity. You've earned that. Every scar, every smile line, every lesson, it's all proof that you've made it this far. Now it's time to take everything you've learned and let it guide you moment by moment with wisdom leading the way. Conclusion: wisdom that walks with you. Let's come back to where we started, standing at the edge of a simple routine. A morning shower, something so ordinary, so familiar, but now maybe you see it differently. Maybe you've started to understand that it's not just about hot water and slippery tiles. It's about timing, awareness, choice. It's about giving yourself permission to adjust, to evolve, to move through each day with the wisdom you've earned. You see, wisdom isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout to be heard. It shows up in the quiet moments, in the pause before you stand. The decision to wait a little longer, the phone call you choose to answer, the habit you dare to question. It walks beside you when you reach for a handrail, without shame. It steadies you when you trade old routines for smarter ones. It whispers, "This is how we keep going. This is how we stay strong." You've lived a life full of learning, of doing things the hard way, of figuring it out. Now you're in a chapter where you get to take all that knowledge and use it to protect your joy, preserve your independence, nurture your peace. The most dangerous time of day to shower may sound like a small detail, but it's really an invitation to step into your day with care, with curiosity, and with control. It's a reminder that nothing is too small to reconsider, that even the simplest choices carry weight, and that your well-being is worth adjusting for. So what does wisdom look like today? Maybe it's choosing a better time to shower. Maybe it's finally installing that grab bar. Maybe it's saying yes to help, or no to pride. Maybe it's reaching out instead of staying silent. Whatever form it takes, let it be your own. Let it be the strength behind your step, the calm in your decisions, the reason you live not just longer but better, because you're not here to just get through the day. You're here to own it, with clarity, with confidence, with wisdom that walks beside you every step of the way.